day. That's what I call when I get a haircut and my nails done, though. You know.
Yeah, I need therapy on this body, yada yada. How long gone? It is a Sunday morning, recording live at 9:11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just flew in. The good people at Delta.
Let's go.
They may or may not have not given me our bag full of merch, but it has. They just said it's been picked up and it's on our way to the distribution center, awaiting a driver assignment. So we're gonna have How Long Gone merch showing up at my house any day.
Okay, good. So you didn't tell me that it was lost because you didn't want me to get stressed out?
Yeah, and also, I mean, I know you wouldn't have been stressed out, but it felt amazing because we landed, maybe around 5 p.m. yesterday, Friday afternoon, which is a really dope time to be.
Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon. Oh, God, it is Saturday. But, traffic-y as hell at that time, and the luggage just straight up did not come. And there was a couple people on the flight with me who are like, my whole life is in that bag.
Oh, like all of the luggage didn't come?
No, not all of it, just some of it.
Okay, sure.
Most of the people got their bags. Shout out to my Delta family, but some of the people did not, and I felt so amazing knowing that the bag that I checked was just a duffel bag full of How Long Gone hats and shirts. So I was like, you know what? It's fine.
It is
and
fine.
I just left.
It is fine. And they always look. People, everyone's paranoid about losing luggage. I understand it. I think it's part of the Apple industrial complex. That's why they introduced the AirTag. That's another podcast.
Yeah.
That's another podcast altogether.
Yeah,
but
the Apple AirTag, human traffickers have found a way to use it more so to their advantage than to bust them. But that is a whole other podcast.
It's a whole nother podcast. But I think that it's pretty rare that they lose something. And if they're going to lose anything, thank God your high-end toiletries weren't in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's merely T-shirts and hats. If you would have lost the Augustina's batter, we would have had a problem. You would have been upset with me and Delta.
I hope you save your receipts for that, sweetie. But yeah, I was on both of my connecting flights with a couple who I think appeared to be like physical, like PT technicians for your Los Angeles Clippers.
Oh,
and yeah, it was cool. I was looking at Kawhi Leonard knee scan X-ray PDFs and Excel spreadsheets. If you're listening, Shorty, sorry for snooping on your laptop, but it was juicy information. I was like, damn, just imagine if I even knew or cared about basketball. This would be dope data right now.
Did you ask them for any advice on all of your pesky injuries, or did you kind of let them cook?
No. It was nice to be around people who were not asking any questions about my height, because when you travel through the Midwest, every single person is like, "Are you a movie star?" When you're just tall,
That's cool that they're like, "Bro, you're short. We don't give a fuck about your little ass. Kawhi could dunk on you." Okay, that's a cool. Look, I'm glad you made it home.
Yeah, it was fine.
My flight was a little shorter, but I had to take a car to the Boston Logan Airport
Your flight was a little shorter? How long is the flight from Boston to New York? My flight was 8 hours.
It's about 45 minutes.
45 minutes, got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, at least you got to leave from the close airport. I'd rather be on the plane than the car, is the honest truth.
That's true.
Not that it's totally comparable, but I was able to catch up on some Joe Budden on the ride, so I was cackling in the back seat. I think the driver didn't like that very much.
You do have a challenging cackle.
I don't think drivers like when you put on the headset. I don't think they like that,
because that means that you're shutting the window of conversation.
Even if they don't want to talk, I feel rude doing it. Like, I don't like doing it, but at 9 a.m. on a Saturday, I didn't want to hear his bad music. I didn't want to tell him to turn it off. You know what I mean? It's a weird exchange.
It is a little bit of weird. It's putting your foot down and saying like, I'm not going to engage with you. But the other alternative is I got a fucking crackhead ass driver talking all through my drive when I was out there.
Yeah, you don't want that. So we just got back from Newport Folk Festival. Thank you for having us. Thank you, Jay Sweet. Thank you to the whole team over there at Newport. We had a blast.
Thank you to the whole C-Suite team over there.
We did a show Thursday night at the Jane Pickens Theater in the quaint little town of Newport with MJ Linderman and Nathaniel Rateliff as guests. So we talked to them and they played some music, and I really liked the format, I have to say. I think it's a fun way to do it.
I agree. I mean, it's something that we've done before with Katie and
Yeah.
Morby, but now that was kind of our first one, and now I've got a couple under our belt, and we kind of know how the flow goes. But it was a really fun show, and it's nice to be on stage, and then you're like, you know what, it's time for music to happen, and then a popular musician just comes out on stage and plays a few songs, and I could go do some push-ups in the back, get a sip of water, and then right back to it.
It was pretty cool. Jason did 2 lines, and then I was trying to do 50 push-ups, and we both finished. So that's why that's kind of why the second half was so
we
good.
both reached the ideal heart rate as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we're trying to do. We have our Apple Watches on backstage trying to get our heart rates up before we have to go back out. That's that's one of our mini challenges. But yeah, I had a very good time, but I think that the best part of the couple days in Newport for me was our get him to the Greek situation Friday morning. So Friday morning, in addition to the Thursday night show, we had to do a 25-minute set at 11 a.m. at Newport Folk Festival at the Foundation stage.
We had the honor of doing. We didn't have to.
We had the honor. So we get going, and it's a longer story, but our friend Brad had let us borrow a car. So we had have this truck, and I'm driving us to Newport from Warwick, this dump that we stayed in, which is my bad. I'm sorry, Jason.
It's all good.
And
thanks to Brad.
It's taking 45 or an hour. It's not looking good for us. We need to be there a little early. The festival's just starting.
Mm-hmm. Traffic is crazy. Parking is crazy.
We're picking Brad up. So I text Brad, be like, yo, bro, we're running a little late. Like, this is going to be tight. And he was like, don't worry about it. I got it. We dropped the car off. We walk through the hotel with Brad and Stella and Nathaniel, and we get directly on a boat, and the boat takes us to play our set, to do our set, if you will. And I have to say, I felt that's as good as I've ever felt doing any sort of live performing.
It was a real Back to the Future moment, and I like the juxtaposition of the urgency of getting us to the Greek.
Yes.
And then performing at 11 a.m. for a line of people who are signing up for a charity organization.
Exactly. I mean, Brad.
It worked out perfectly. But it was sort of like, you finally get to the stage, and there was not a sea of people waiting for us specifically, but they were just waiting for music and entertainment and good vibes in general.
You know who has
and
that?
Luckily, we were able to bring that.
You know who has that, Jason? Us. Yeah, Brad said that afterwards he was like, that felt like Neil Hamburg, like outsider art, what you guys just did, because no one was watching us, but there was a big line of people, and we just started talking to them basically, and it went pretty well. And then these 2 older women came up to us and just started talking to us like they'd run into us on the street while we had microphones and they didn't. Mm-hmm. Which was a very strange thing to do, but I liked it overall.
Yeah, I've learned that if you're like a 50, 60-something-year-old party lady from Boston or the Massachusetts area, and you have a microphone in your hand, she's going to be talking all through that thing. She has every question. She's like, we're on stage doing a live podcast with microphones, and then these 2 women walk up, and they're like, my son's a podcaster. Do you know him? I don't know. What does he do? And she goes, he does H3. They're very big.
I don't know what H3 is. That sounds like a steroid. Is that a podcast I should know about?
It's like, I've never listened to it. I've seen a couple I've seen them in the news because like members of it would get caught for bad thing. I don't remember what it was. Like,
how many people is this the polyphonic spree of podcasting? How many fucking people are in the group?
I don't know. H3 podcast.
H3 sounds like a new strain of something.
I know, it's really weird.
It's a bad name.
James Charles caught sending what to minors again.
James Charles. Oh my God, the little twink makeup artist is involved in this?
There's apparently
Jesus Christ.
There's a lot of controversy around this podcast.
Oh my God, I'm looking at this picture of all these. There's one good-looking guy. I bet that's her son. Dead ass. I bet that's her son. I don't know why I think that, but that's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a pug that needs to be groomed, or he looks like a before photo when they rescue one of those dogs and give it like a makeover.
It was something else.
Usually, like any of these people who are like streamers, TikTok, except for Josh Citarella, our close friend. But most of the people who are in the streaming kind of world, they always seem to be getting in trouble for trying to have sex with minors. I don't know what that vibe is, but this woman's son was probably doing it too. But they offered a fun conversation, so thanks for that, lady.
It was great. I had a blast in Newport. Honestly, I thought it was really fun. I hope we get to do it again. And we also saw...
Me too.
We saw Wednesday play, which was great, and finally got to hang with them a little bit. But then I have to say... So the thing at Newport, which I didn't fully realize, is that like there's a lot of unannounced performances, and because of the history of the festival, it's some heavy hitters. You know,
it's like the freaking do-over in 2007, bro. You don't know
exactly them jeans,
and Ninth Wonder. Oh man, that's crazy.
Shit! Oh shit!
Not ninth,
not. So they're like, oh, Beck's coming out. And I'm like, oh, I like a couple Beck albums. This'll be cool.
Beck cool.
And then Beck, who looks like a melting wax figure of Ellen at this point, is like, comes out.
He kind of looks like Miranda July.
He does look like Miranda July. He came out in this kind of like cult leader beige outfit and proceeded to absolutely rock the house. I have to say, I was pretty blown away by Beck.
He opened with Maggie's Farm, Bobby Dylan, and I was like, oh shit, he going for it.
He opened with Dylan.
And I was like, damn, he's playing the one Dylan song I know. This is so Joker Man of me.
He gave like a speech about folk music and Pete Seeger that I could have lived without. But then he played Sea Change songs with and the band he was with was the band he did Sea Change with in the studio. And then he closed with Loser. And I was surprised that he did. I assumed that was maybe a song he didn't play anymore.
Yeah, I feel like he kind of has to. It's like it's his Mr. Brightside. The problem with Loser by Beck is that it involves rapping.
Yes.
And I know that, I don't know how old Beck is, but he ain't young no mo. And I felt a little bad for him having to
I actually
kick out the jams and say, in the time of chimpanzees I was a monkey.
Yeah, I agree with you a little bit, but it seemed the crowd response is so overwhelmingly good that it's like, how bad can it be for 3 minutes? You know what I mean?
True.
It also probably bought him a couple houses. So,
and it's a song that he is able to folkify as well, because it starts off with just like an acoustic guitar with some distortion on it, and he's doing kind of some bluesy slide, like and he started out playing Loser by doing like a 5-minute kind of honky tonk Delta blues slidey, guitar solo
he
thing.
Did that shit. He freaked it.
It was the folk Fred again. I don't know which came first, Fred again or folk music, but
that's a great
the
question.
lines were blurred.
It was super fun, and I'm glad. And thank you again to Brad.
He
Cook.
did rock the house.
Brad Cook, our shaman, because I don't think we would have had the experience we had without him. He really took us under his wing.
He pointed at, here's where the free oysters are. Here's where you get your kombucha.
I feel deeply indebted to him for making that as easy and fun as it was, because I think it was me and you. We would have been twiddling our thumbs and like lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like damn Bon Iver yesterday.
But yeah, it's good to be back. But before we left, we had a dinner at this place that everybody recommended to us. Friend of the show, Max Arkin, who like goes to Newport a lot. What was it called? Clark Cookhouse?
Yeah, let me pull that up. It was called Clark with an E, Cook with an E.
But I
Clark Cook.
How would you describe that place? Because it felt like it was maybe stuck in the 80s in a good way.
It was a mid to high end clam shack. I think every kind of seaside town has one of these places that's just been there forever. The food is fine.
I think the difference is
it ain't wonderful.
I think the difference is that in Newport, because there's so much money, it feels a little better than a clam shack. But I agree that's what they're offering.
Yeah. But the good part about it, or the part I kind of liked about it, was its segregation, where they have the nice kind of fancy bar area where you can pull up a chair and get a martini and some gifts from the sea, but you have to wear a collared shirt to sit there. And then it was one of the first times in my life where I was the correctly dressed person and Chris wasn't.
So it blew me away.
Pretty good for me.
I haven't forgotten about that, and I
But there's something very interesting where it was like, oh, you guys, you can't sit here. You need a collared shirt. But we do kind of have the little kind of children's play place bar downstairs, and you could wear your flip flops and cargo shorts if you wanted to do that there.
Like the women that were next to us that brought their own Stanley mugs and put them on the bar while they ordered Baileys. You know, it's not. God. We were at the drag. I liked it though. I needed it. I needed like a real meal where the food was good. It was very satisfying, I think, because of the day we had.
Yeah, we need. I mean, that's kind of all we need ever after.
That's true.
A long, hard day on the road is just a serviceable meal with shrimp cocktail and martini.
We pushed ourselves.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, those women there it was a very dark energy. There was a woman who was like 50, and she was sort of gussied up like a pig with lipstick on, and she was wearing like this like see-through sequin pink mesh top with like some white hot pant booty short thingies, and then she had 3 fours with her wearing Barbie t-shirts, and then it was sort of like I don't know if it was her birthday or
it felt like it felt bachelorette-ish.
It was a hens weekend, but
it was her third
the dry aged hens weekend. It's had some time on the plancha, but it was just something about like here's the only people that are willing to hang out with me, and they were doing a bar crawl with Stanley's, and they went to this kind of nice bar with well-to-do people grabbing, Bay Breezers and Bloody Marys and things like that, and they plopped their pink Stanleys on the bar with their Barbie t-shirt of fucking 2 years after Barbie comes out. The bartender hands them the glass of ice water, the kind of football-shaped bar glass. And then this heifer just immediately dumps it straight into her Stanley and then takes this big sip out of it with her straw, as if, because of
it's crazy
different procedures, she's unable to drink without a straw or something. I don't know.
Because of several procedures I've done to my lip area, I'm unable to drink without a straw.
It could be that. I think it could also be some type of odd Arrested Development where the Stanley has turned.
We got to get rid of this.
Our nation's women's into babies.
It's
like sippy.
It's causing all this straw usage is causing a problem when it comes to hydrating, and I want to put a stop. I'm anti reusable bottles, and I don't know another way to approach this because I see men go in sippy cup mode at Equinox, and I just don't understand how you can do that with a straight. That's worse than ordering a iced oat milk matcha latte. As a fella?
That reminds me of the time I saw the guy at Equinox wearing a shirt that said Beast Mode on it, and then his Stanley was so big he needed both hands to pick it up and sip from it on the rowing machine.
I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy that needs my pre-workout.
Just seeing this like big fucking hairy buff dude, in between sets, picking up his baba with both hands to take a big sip from his straw like a good boy.
No, it was that. It's insane.
Too good.
That's literally every day, though. That's at gyms across the world. I don't understand how we've gotten here. Like, also, it's reusable straws are disgusting.
Yeah, I maybe it's some kind of security blanket thing for them or something. But I think you might agree with this. The only time a straw is okay. Smoothie, iced coffee. That's it, pretty much.
Yeah, smoothie, iced coffee. I mean, iced coffee I would like to drink normally, and sometimes I go lid free, but I'm worried about a spill if I'm keeping it 100.
Yeah, I'm also worried about a spill.
And so that's why. But yeah,
I got precious carg.
It was a wild scene over there. But then we were able to make it back to the hotel so I could watch some of the opening ceremony of the Olympics.
Oh shit, I forgot about the opening ceremony.
It's one of the worst things I've ever seen, and I don't understand how anyone could think different. Like it was insane. Like you watched some of it too. I know it was so bad and weird, and I don't understand how they even got there.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a hard conversation. I can take the reins if somebody wants a wise person to make some calls and cuts, but. And I guess there was also some interesting majesty about watching it on like local regional television in Rhode Island.
Sure.
How it reminds me, or I guess it was a glaring difference from watching it as a kid and you see the opening ceremony and you're like, this is the most dazzling, exciting television I've ever seen, and they light the arrow with the bow and arrow and shoot it across the entire field and light the Olympic torch, and you're like, bro, this is so sick. It's lit as hell. And then watching this, and then in between the commercials, it's like commercials for like local regional plumbers and used car dealerships.
Yeah.
And it was a glaring, like, nobody gives a fuck about this, about the Olympics anymore.
It's just like there was some awful like metal band that played. It was like there was like a Last Supper vibe. It was pouring rain.
I learned I learned that was French metal band Gojira.
Yeah.
Which is I guess making fun of how an Asian person would say Godzilla.
Is that true?
I don't know, maybe.
I mean, I learned about that from favorite Instagram account, Justified Arrogance, my favorite, my educator, because I was watching it and I was like, who are these like French Tool looking guys, and how on earth do they get this gig to play in the rain while like it was just the athletes, like the American athletes in the route, they look like Jay-Z with a button up on in like 2004 in the skinny Ralph fits. It was all insane. It was all insane.
Yeah, I just looked it up. In 2001, year of 9/11, Godzilla was legally compelled to change its name to Gojira, the original Japanese name for Godzilla. Okay, so maybe it's not so much. But it feels weird having like a sea of really white French guys being named Gojira.
It's truly one of the worst things I've ever seen. And then I realized that I think I used to like the Olympics, and I don't know if I'm just older or if it's gotten worse, but like I just have no interest. I used to like to watch it. Now I just don't care at all.
I used to like to watch it as well, and I was trying to figure out what the difference was, but there's something about it. It would just be compelling for whatever reason. I'd be like, damn, well, yeah. You know, I'm 11 years old and my ass is seated to see what happens in the women's floor gymnastics routine or the synchronized swimming or whatever it was. You used to be into watching it, and now, I mean, like I love cycling. Like I've ridden my bike my whole life. It's like really cool to watch. And I was watching cycling yesterday, and just these seasoned athletes trying to like turn corners in pouring rain puddles, falling on their ass, slicing their legs open and shit. And I'm just like, I have no desire to watch this at all. And I think that professional sports of all kinds, basketball, football, cycling, tennis, you name it, they have sort of lapped, to use a track and field phrase, they've sort of lapped whoever's in charge of Olympic programming. And now what used to be the top of the pops, the big show, has now been, lapped multiple times by just anything. Fucking WNBA. Lacrosse on ESPN2 is more compelling programming than watching the fucking World Olympics.
It really is crazy, though. Like I read this New York Times story this morning about like athletes that have like worked their whole life for this, and then they're out in the first, they're done in like a 5 minute, you know what I mean? Like after 3 minutes of fencing, your entire dream, your dream, your lifelong dream is dashed and it's over, and you have to go get a job. It's so crazy, because that's the whole thing that Flavor Flav is there, and everybody's like, what the fuck is Flava Flav doing? It's because he found out the women's water polo team had to work like 3 jobs each, right, and practice, so he sponsored them. He like paid for them to go. He like gave them a large sum of money.
Did he ask for anything in return? I know Flavor Flav is kind of a dog, right?
I think actually Flavor Flav has turned into this sort of like fun Snoop Dogg type mascot. Where
he is.
But I think he's cleaned up his act in the last 20 years, probably.
So you're saying Flavor Flav is potentially no longer just a squirrel trying to get a nut?
I would say yes. I thought he was broke though, so I don't know how he's giving all this money away. But maybe I'm wrong.
I think if the water polo team is forced to work 3 jobs, anything, well,
any little bit helps.
Counts.
Any little bit helps.
Flavor Flav fucked around and wrote a $1,500 check and he said, "Let me change your life."
They got new head pieces. They got the new little the little swim cap with the padded ears that they got to wear.
He paid 2 of their unpaid parking tickets and said, "All right, I need backstage passes.
I need backstage. I need AAA. I need AAA VIP to the whole Paris game."
Yeah, the photo or the video of him dapping up Jill Biden was really really something good as well.
It's also there's Alex said this yesterday. She's like, there's so many celebrities there.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if that's always how it is or if it feels more pronounced.
It's not,
because like Louis Vuitton is part of it, and they're probably inviting people. It seems a little more Hollywood than normal.
Yeah, I think they've realized that, you know, the opening ceremony or the Olympics in general need to be like a content play. And then,
Yes.
you know, there's so much money that can be made by, you know, it being a commercial for Minions and Louis Vuitton.
That's right.
Trunks and bags made out of basketballs and stuff. I think that they realize that celebs are like, yeah, I'll fucking go to that. You know, poor Zac Efron, you know, his makeup was melting in the rain.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, why not? I would go too. I mean, if somebody invites you, go. It's cool.
I would go. If somebody invites you, I would go, but it did feel a little kind of desperado. I don't know why. It felt so unmajestic.
It's all awful. Like, I really, really didn't like it. I was like, this is so... Because it's not just bad. It's like weirdly bad.
Mm-hmm.
I can't... It like the choices they made are just like, how did you get here, Chief? How did you draw the line from A to B?
Well, I think whoever made these calls is realizing that I think our generation and older, we're sort of going to automatically watch the Olympics because it's just ingrained in our psyche. Like, that's what you do.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first year where they realize that, you know, millennials and beyond, we need something more than that. And I think they're trying to appease the younger audience by having, you know, Call Her Daddy interview.
I can't wait for the Call Her Daddy Simone Biles. So your calf's hurt. That sucks. Like, I can't wait for that kind
Your
of...
calves must be feeling so unwell, but you slayed.
You absolutely slayed up there.
You are
Mama.
so unhinged up there on the women's 400-meter dash. But there's that, and then, you know, when I was watching the opening ceremony, I felt a little like I was taking crazy pills because the female announcer, I forgot I don't know who her name was. It was not Call Her Daddy, and her gender is not important to it, but it was scripted, or like a producer is feeding this person notes. So you're watching something really amazing and special, like Lady Gaga is about to perform, and it reminded me of watching kind of like Japanese television where like emotions will be ad-libbed or dubbed over it.
Yeah,
if something surprising is about to happen, it'll play like surprising music and sound effects and like boing, and like or like, oh, this is a really good thing. We should be excited to watch this now. And then everyone's like, oh, okay. Like we used to just watch something impressive and be impressed by it. And now we're so fucking stupid that we have to have a woman or a man being like, this is a exciting thing to watch right now. And everyone's like, oh, okay, I'll clap and pay attention. Or like, this is really a big deal that Lady Gaga is singing this song right now. This is very exciting and this is very fun to watch. And everyone's like, oh, okay. No,
all right, that's exactly what's happening. No, I'm not.
And it's so dark. It's not giving anybody any credit for their intelligence level watching it.
Well, that's what you got to do to get those ratings.
Because, you know, the Olympics were never for the fucking hillbillies to watch. It was usually a little more kind of
I disagree.
Folks.
I disagree. I think the Olympics were always...
What's the most white trash Olympic sport we got out? Wrestling?
I mean, there's like there's so much weird shit that happens at the Olympics. Like, it would be something we don't even know about. But it's because it's also played 24 hours a day on like NBC. That's why I mean it's for you know what I mean? It's like everyone can access it all the time. And people like basketball. Everybody likes basketball.
That's true.
They want to see LeBron and his weird beard dunk on some Croatians, you know?
Weird beard.
I fucking hate LeBron's beard. I don't get it. Like, bro, trim the fucking beard.
LeBron.
Trim the beard. But yeah, I'm not I think I can't watch the Olympics. I think I'm really out on it. It really disturbed me. The opening ceremony really disturbed me.
Yeah, and I think it disturbed a lot of Republican folks who were like, okay, we have to stop this. We can't have... I saw a funny photo. There's the big guy painted blue.
Yeah.
The Last Supper kind of situation.
I posted that photo on Twitter, and somebody said I corrected it and just put Less Savvy Fav underneath it, which is pretty fucking funny. For the heads, but pretty fucking funny.
And, you know, I could see how some people would be upset by this, of just like, okay, maybe we've gone a little too far. But Olympic ceremonies have always been a little kind of interpretive, dancey, you know, But I think,
Yeah, definitely.
like bullying is a bad thing, but we need a little bullying of the theater people just to keep
Yeah.
the trains running on time. You know what I mean? This is what happens when bullying has been removed. And I'm not trying to sound Joe Rogan or whatever, but I was like, we need a little venom in here just to rein it in just a little
just
bit.
wasn't compelling.
I don't know who's into it at all.
That's what I
don't know
mean.
anyone
That's what I mean.
gay or straight or anyone who's watching this, like, this is the pinnacle of entertainment and artistic expression. But a cool thing that happened in that photo, and then I'll let you speak, Sway, but there's the big guy painted blue with the beard, and then behind him, one of the backup Vogers or whatever had one of his balls hanging out of his underwear.
That's cool.
And I was like, that at least he snuck a ball in on national
I don't think
television.
that was on purpose.
I know
but
that.
I think that's
I don't know if it was,
that's a win.
even though less people are watching the opening ceremony than How I Met Your Mother reruns, but
way less.
it's cool to see it.
Millions less. Well, no, I saw people excited because they played a song, like a Cassius song, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, which that does feel cool.
Yeah, when I heard that come on, I was like, okay, EDM representation, that's cool. And then I think I saw this DJ guy I know, Mid, MYD. There's a photo of him. He's like an Ed Banger guy. There's a photo of him lighting a cigarette with the Olympic torch, and I was like, okay, that's
sick.
At least someone's doing something fucking cool over here, for Christ's sake.
Shout out to all our Ed Banger family, but calling yourself Mid is not the best idea.
It might be a different word in French, okay?
Mead. We mead. I mean, maybe, but you got to realize that you're an international superstar of the EDM world. You got to kind of reel it in. You got to change that up.
His name is pronounced Mead, like weed, after his Icelandic grandfather. Okay.
Well, that's better than mid. I'll tell you that.
Mead.
Mead.
Another pint of mead.
That's pretty cool, though, that he lit a cigarette with the fucking... That's cool as hell. That's like really, really funny. Yeah, they're really...
we need more of that shit.
They're really trying. They got Snoop Dogg, America's favorite. They got Call Her Daddy, white girl's favorite. They're doing their best, but like I don't think it's going to move the needle.
No.
That being said, USA till I die. Obviously, I want to get as many medals as possible.
Yeah, I support our dope country, and that is good. But I feel like it's one of those years where like America is going to lose. In the basketball tournament. Like every year they always dominate, and then every fourth Olympics they kind of slip.
Yeah,
and then. Like Serbia is probably going to beat them today.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's because they all don't really want to do it because they'd rather be on vacation, like the players who aren't as good. Mm-hmm. And so they're a little upset that they got to go risk their ACL to dunk on a guy from fucking Southeast Asia in front of nobody, it's a nightmare. The whole thing is terrible.
We need to postpone the Olympics until we have a new creative director. Let's get PlayLab in there. Someone clean it up, huh?
It feels like France is also to blame. You know what I mean? Like I have to see a picture of fucking Jason Kelsey with a beret on. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like. It's just. It all seems. It's all just. It's. I'm not a big French guy. I don't really love what they offer me there, but it just seems like part of us, like there's so much cool, chic, amazing French stuff, but I kind of think that has all been sucked from this experience. It's not. There's no Jane Birkin at the Olympics. Let me say that.
You want that old French back.
Exactly. I mean, I sent you that video, the fucking video of Air performing with Thomas Mars on the roof of Charles de Gaulle. Mm-hmm. That's fucking French pride. That's the France I support.
Yeah, we have Air playing at Charles de Gaulle Airport. The alliteration is spot on, and then you come to America, we got Clipse rapping on the sidewalk.
We got Clipse. I mean, look, that shit looked lit, and I wish I would have gone. Kind of.
Yeah. That was very we outside
of
Clipse.
But I would say that they sounded pretty great, and I didn't hear or see any white people saying the N-word on Instagram stories, but just know that it happened.
Yeah, internally at the very least. Yeah,
internally.
It was cool to see. Yeah, it's cool to see rappers rapping on the sidewalk in New York in the summer. I feel like that's a thing from the bygone era that we don't see anymore, unfortunately, due to our crippling violence that we have in this world. I think there were more
Definitely.
security guards there than patrons of the arts, unfortunately. But I'm glad that we pulled it off. Shout out to the homie Tremaine,
I saw the
as well as
I saw
Clipse. You guys rock.
they were good considering they're pretty old, but I would say that like it reminds me of there was a time when A Life was on Rivington Street. Sorry to go old head mode, but they did A Life sessions, and it would be like Drake for 100 people outside in a backyard in New York, and it was like, oh, this is pretty fucking sick. Like this is kind of
I
crazy.
thought you were gonna say something more old heady than Drake.
No. It was old heady because I said A Life. It wasn't old heady because of the artist.
Got it.
But yeah, I wish, because we went to see Japanese House last night at Pier 17, which is like, it's where we did the J. Crew party with the Strokes, and it's in the Seaport, which I'm a Seaport apologist. We're able to hit ABCV before, have a nice, nourishing vegetarian meal.
What was the star of the menu over there at ABCV?
There was like
at the C Mall.
I really like the hemp seed veggie burger, because I don't know if it's on the menu at the original location or if it's just at the Seaport, but I've only had it at the Seaport.
It's a veggie burger that Tony would have liked, right?
Exactly. What Tony? Only for Tony. And then there was like a mushroom, kind of like a mushroom fried chicken type thing that was very good.
Okay.
Pier 17 is kind of low key, like an amazing venue if the weather's nice, because you're high up enough to feel like you're just surrounded by New York on all four sides. It's really nice. I really liked it.
Okay. Happy for you.
She sounded great. I mean, they were really good.
Yeah, I like Japanese House. Their new album's probably gonna be good.
Several How Long Gone listeners in the building for sure. I met Glave's manager. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name, but you're a legend. Glave's got a new album coming out.
Glaive, How Long Gone fan favorite. We'll get Glaive back on the podcast soon.
Glave's coming back. I solidified it last night. Glave's coming back. But he, that was it. It was fun, but I like lost my steam because I was like, we can go to Time Again and stand in Dime Square with 1,500 people to watch the Clipse play, and then I decided against it.
Good for you. I'm sure we'll be there when we are having our U.S. Open situation. I need to go over to Time and Again. Time and Again, that's what it's called?
No, Time Again.
Time Again.
I haven't been. Cooper texted me being like, I need an expose. Like, why is this happening? I'm like, because I think it's just like, this happens in New York every 5 to 10 years. There's like a place that pops up that like you can just hang out, and it probably won't last forever, but it'll burn out bright.
Every summer we need a new place to be outside. Beyonce voice.
Every summer we need a new place to be outside. Exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna be in New York soon. Actually, shit, less than a month. And
yeah, I'm here right now. It's crazy.
Whatever. It's been a while for me. I'm very excited to go.
Well, you've been to a lot of other bad places, so it's gonna be nice to come back to a good place.
Yeah, I'm excited to travel in America.
Look, I'm telling you, it's the new trend. It's the new trend. Once all these influencers realize that it's a pain in the ass to go sit on rocks, they're going to come around. They're going to be going to fucking Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
I can see it now.
You're going to miss hotel lobbies that have lemon water.
Exactly. Bro, these water infusions, by the way, they're getting a little too crazy. There was some shit the other day I saw at the Delta Lounge, and then there was at the hotel in Minneapolis. I tasted this water and I was like, this is disgusting. Like, what have you done? Like, I don't need strawberries and basil.
Ooh, that does sound kind of good.
It's disgusting. Like, give me water. Give me lemon if you have to infuse. If you must infuse, lemon is the only thing that should be infused.
Maybe we're blaming Starbucks. Who knows? But I think that most Americans need to add something to their water nowadays.
We went to Starbucks.
You can't just have that fresh.
We went to Starbucks in Warwick, Rhode Island, and I hadn't been to a Starbucks in a while, especially like a freestanding, not like an airport Starbucks.
Yeah.
My God, are they fucking the customer who comes in to buy coffee? Like it's crazy. Like it's crazy. If you walk into Starbucks and order a coffee and pay with your card, it's going to take twice as long. Because everyone is so fat and lazy, they won't get out of their car, or they have to pre-order on their app. And it just seems like you can't forego the real customer is the one that comes in and pay. I don't know. It seems crazy to me.
I think they have some type of algorithm where the ticketing system is
sure.
sort of divvied up with an algorithm that the people who walk in get a little more of a priority placement. They don't get chucked to the back of the line, but it is still a very imperfect system, and I feel like they do that at In-N-Out as well, where if you come in...
It ain't priority enough. If I'm standing in front of your ass and you're making 15 other fucking pink lemonades, like... Like, all I asked for was a nitro cold brew, the only thing I can tolerate from that shit establishment. And I just couldn't believe... Like, when we were running late for the show, you were in there for 15 minutes or more to get a cold brew.
And I got a cold brew and a bottle of water.
Like, it's just... it's
but
crazy.
I mean, they fucked up, but I think... I mean, on the good side, for a place like that is not necessarily as inclusive to all sexualities as
no, actually,
Los Angeles
that's not,
or New York.
Oh, you mean in Warwick? I'm saying Starbucks as a corporation is very known for being inclusive.
It is, but what a thing that I noticed and I liked is I'm in, a Starbucks in Rhode Island by the airport. It's not exactly a boys' town, you know what I mean? And every single employee and customer there seemed to be gay. And it was like a nice kind of safe space where all, the town's gays can all congregate. I felt like I was going to Starbucks in Palm Springs, but that part made me feel good. It was like, oh, everyone can just be themselves and be happy and safe, and they have a good friendship and good network and a good paying job in a time where that's not happening. So I felt happy about that. I don't feel happy about... I think they really are trying to make it so eventually Starbucks and every other place is going to be drive-through only, just so they don't have to, spend the money on the real estate and chairs and people to clean the toilets and cashier, blah, blah, blah. So, I say enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, I'll make sure to enjoy Starbucks while I can. Until I have to pull up on my Lime scooter because there's no door to go in and order from. I'll have to.
Well, not just Starbucks. Every restaurant, every fast.
Yeah, I don't really go, but I don't really go to places like that. Honestly, like in those situations, I do. I mean, I was extremely tempted by the Jimmy John's at the Boston Logan International Airport. I have to say. But I resisted. I was powerful. It was also 10:30 a.m. Not really sandwich hours.
It's not sandwich hours. It is in some parts of the world, but maybe not Boston.
I mean, it was there was a line, so it was in Boston. People were partaking for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, another thing I noticed when I was watching the Olympics and some other television, they were trying to sell this thing that was it's like an assault rifle that you use to shoot bugs in your house, but it shoots salt. Have you seen these? It's called like a salt rifle.
That is very cool. The name is very, very cool.
It is very cool, but it's something that I was not too familiar with. But then when you turn on the TV in a more rural part of the country like that, they were pushing it like an Apple Watch or something, or AG1.
That's cool. I mean, look, they got a lot of bugs, and they like guns. Mm-hmm. When you combine those two things, that's a hit product.
Damn, actually, you just reminded me of when we were watching Beck, and I had a nice little crossfade going. There was a swarm of thousands of dragonflies that flew in out of nowhere to Beck's stage and were all just hovering above the heads of all the people watching. And it seemed as if they were just came to watch the show. They were Beck fans or something like that. But
I think they could have been paid by Scientology, but that's just that's a guess that I'm making.
And I was asking some old burners, does this happen every year? And they're like, no, I've never seen this in my entire life.
Burners. That was the cool thing about Newport, is that like it's a place to take your parents. Like you sit down, like it's really a pleasant experience versus like other music festivals that we've been to, where it's like you're in the sun all day sweating and everybody's waiting on Travis Scott to play. It seemed a little more
it was a parallel universe. It was just like, what if we traded a few things out and then replace them with a few things where, you're not maybe going to see the most cutting edge fashion.
No,
that you might see at a
you're
gonna
see rainbow flip flops and some chacos if you're lucky.
But you're gonna replace that with every single person being nice and courteous,
no one
and quite pleasant. And I had more conversations with grandmas than I've ever had in my entire life, and they were all cool and chill.
It was very interesting to see a music festival where someone is rocking the stage and thousands of people are sitting down, and that's just that's the deal. Mm-hmm. And that's everybody agrees with it. Everybody agrees with it. It's
and
nice.
then you're in a band playing for a bunch of people seated quietly, but the energy that you feel from them is not bad. It's not like, oh fuck, I'm just gonna have to get through this because no one's really like, after every single song, the love, even if you're bad.
Even if you're bad. Speaking
even
of
if you're
bad,
Black Pumas, they were good.
I was about to say, we got to the point where we were leaving and we realized that the Pumas were about to take the main stage. Mm-hmm. And Jason was like,
because we missed them at Pitchfork, unfortunately.
Jason was like, let's go check this out. Since neither of us know what they sound like or know anything about them, let's just go check this out because they're obviously very popular. Mm-hmm. And boy, howdy, did they suck. And we lasted what, 45 seconds, 1 minute maybe. Yeah. And I just don't. It's we live in an Imagine Dragons society now where like that is what is popular on the radio and that is how it works.
That music is for someone, and I know that there are probably a lot of people listening to us right now who enjoy them, and we apologize.
I hope not. I don't think that's true. I actually don't think there's a lot of people that listen to How Long Gone that listen to Black Pumas. I really don't think there's a huge crossover.
There's enough, but so I don't want to talk too much mess, but yeah, there's something about our brains where it just doesn't. It's just like,
No, I mean they're very competent musicians, but when you trot out a fucking bongo player, you've gotten too big for your britches. If you're paying for a bongo player to come on tour, you got to look inward.
Unless that guy sells the drugs or something, or I don't know what.
Yeah. Unless that's your brother, your uncle, it's some other shit. Like you got to.
It really reminds me of there's the meme video that everyone has seen on Twitter of the weird quirked up band with the horn section, and then the woman doing the synchronized dancing with the horn section.
Yeah.
For like this ska band playing at like a county fair or something like that. That's sort of what the Pumas were delivering for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a fair. I mean, look, more power to them. They're doing fucking much better than we are. So God bless the Pumas.
They are, but we split the money one way, and they don't.
They got a lot of people in that band. I don't know. I mean, I heard like the origin story over the weekend. It's a really cool story, like the actual, but I don't need to listen to it. But that's true about most music.
Street busker plucked from obscurity and brought onto the main stage. It is a beautiful story.
That sounds like a documentary to me.
Mm-hmm. All right, I guess that's kind of it. Shout out to Emily and her dog Ruben, who sat next to me on the airplane yesterday. I was having a convo I was sitting in the middle seat, and there's two people a person on either side of me, and they're talking to me and I was like, yeah, I do this podcast, and they're like, yeah, is it big? What's the deal? And they were kind of like, sell me on your pod kind of thing. One of them was like an older woman who's like a new TV news producer in New York, like a classic rich New Yorker lady. The other one was a violinist, but her mom is a producer on This American Life. So it was like kind of tough.
Oh,
like, oh, you do a podcast? What's up with your little podcast kind of thing? And then a girl sitting behind me just randomly was like, oh, TJ, fan of the pod. Shout out to Emily for the assist, and she had a cool dog.
Okay, well, there's no such thing, but I'm glad to hear that you made some more. As usual, you made friends that work in TV on an airplane.
She said that Chris would say that.
She's right. Dogs suck. How Long Gone? We're coming to London, Bush Hall, August 9th. Get your tickets. FWB Fest is sold out in Idlewild. So if you're going to be there with your Excel spreadsheet on your BlackBerry, you know where to find us, 5 o'clock on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. In conversation with
Big Trev. And then I guess that's it.
For FWB, we go on at 5, so you're going to want to plan your microdose for, let's call it 4:15 as the crow flies. To get the full
Alice
effects.
Your Alice chocolate mushroom should be taken at 4:10.
Yeah,
I would say,
4:10.
Just based on the research I've seen. That would be a smart decision. But yeah, howlonggone.com. Get the tickets for London. We'll see you in Idlewild, and we'll be back next week with more podcasts.